Good morning and thanks for joining us. I'm Veronica Brandon Miller and this is Goodwill, Minnesota's Good News, where we share with you the good that's happening in our community. And yes, there is a lot of good and we have a lot of good things to share with you. And just a reminder, every time you donate or shop to Goodwill, you are changing lives through the power of work. And how we're able to do that is because of the sale of those unwanted items. And we're keeping them out of the landfill, remember that. But let's talk about some of these wonderful events that Goodwill is happening. First, we're having a free fashion consulting workshop. And if you go on our website, experiencegoodwill.org, you'll be able to see the locations and the times. This is a fabulous partnership with Sharon Stewart, who is an image consultant. I've gone to 2 of her workshops so far, and it is eye-opening because she helps you go into your closet. Like, I totally forgot I had this scarf, totally, but it does. It helps you go in to start figuring out what are the perfect, sportswear, evening wear, or day wear. So again, check it out on Experience Goodwill, and hopefully I'll see you at one of these workshops. We also have 2 fashion shows coming up. Speaking of fashion, I love talking to 2 men about fashion. The first one is Salute the Runway, and that's going to be on June 16th. We have a dozen fabulous women veterans that will be wearing Goodwill evening gowns, and they're all designer. It's amazing. Where do you see this? But more importantly, they're going to talk about how their time in the military helped prepare them for the community in which they live right now and how they're leaders. It's wonderful. And then we also have the Little Black Dress is coming back, and our partnership with the Girl Scouts. It'll be July 22nd at Michael's on East. And it's, if you see, it's called the Recycled Little Black Dress with Pop. So we're not just going to wear black. We're going to bring some color into it. Who knows, maybe I'll wear the scarf. That'll bring some color into it. But again, all this information and all tickets are available on experiencegoodwill.org. And I hope to see you in all of these. And men are welcome.
Oh, really?
Okay, yes.
All right.
So anyway, we do have a fabulous show. We have 2 very prominent people in the community. We have Tom Piazze, who's going to be wearing many hats today, but talking about a fabulous event that's coming up on Flag Day. And then we have Phillip Tavil, who is the president CEO of Children's First. And I know everybody knows about Children's First, but wait till you hear about what they're working on. So with that, let's start with Tom.
Okay.
So welcome, and first of all, thank you for being a Goodwill ambassador, serving on our Veterans Task Force. You are a Lieutenant Colonel retired.
That's correct.
So thank you for your service.
Well, thank you.
So tell us, what brings you here?
Well, Veronica, thank you very much for inviting me today. It's very important, I think, for us to be able to talk to the community about some of the things that we're doing within the Military Officers Association of America and our Sarasota chapter specifically. Today, I'd like to talk a little bit about a program that we recently launched called the American Flag Protocol Initiative. And to do that best, I think I need to go back a little bit and give some of the history, what led us to do this. And so I'll start by saying that at its annual meeting in 2012, the Military Officers Association of America presented to its membership for approval 14 different resolutions that would guide its efforts in the foreseeable future. One of those resolutions focused on the future actions that M.O.A.A. would take to stimulate respect and loyalty to the United States Constitution and the American flag. The same resolution encouraged M.O.A.A. chapters across the country to sponsor efforts to educate America's school children on the origin and meaning of the flag, flag etiquette, and patriotism. Now, Veronica, I have to say that I was really intrigued by this resolution because I just assumed that these things were already being taught in our schools.
It's sad.
That 4th and 5th graders were learning about the flag, flag etiquette, the Constitution, the Pledge of Allegiance. That's what we did.
Yeah.
And that's what my children did. Mm-hmm. So I got a little curious and I did some online research and I found out that yes, in fact, the state legislature has mandated that this type of instruction take place. Constitution, Pledge of Allegiance, the American flag, citizenship, free enterprise, all of those are mandated. But then in conversations that I had with teachers who are my friends, They told me, no, we don't really do that. We don't have the time nor the resources. And as a consequence, this instruction has kind of fallen to the wayside. Well, it was about that same time that the Patterson Foundation announced its Legacy of Valor campaign and its overarching goals of instilling patriotism, enhancing freedom, and honoring our nation's veterans. And I thought, what a great opportunity for M.O.A.A. to launch an educational program in conjunction with Sarasota County School District to overcome some of the deficiencies that were currently being experienced. And so I asked my board of directors whether I could prepare a proposal and submit the proposal to the Patterson Foundation to create a curriculum that would overcome some of this instruction, and whether or not they would provide funding to do so. My board agreed. I wrote the proposal, I submitted it to Patterson, and Patterson said, we approve this for funding pending the results of your curriculum. Well, I then went to work. And working with a group of teachers from Sarasota County School District and some of the administrators, Gulf Coast Girl Scouts, some of the Boy Scout organizations, we began to work together to build a curriculum which ultimately led to a 9-lesson curriculum that is to be taught on a voluntary basis by 4th and 5th grade teachers in Sarasota County schools that covers a number of topics. First of all, the origin of the American flag, and then what is the meaning of the flag? What is the importance of patriotism and respect for the flag, and what are the proper protocols and etiquettes that children and adults should give to the flag when it's presented to them? Lesson 10, which is the culminating lesson of all of this, is designed to be team taught by bringing a veteran, a group of junior ROTC cadets from one of the local high schools, maybe a senior level Girl Scout, into the classroom. And it covers a multitude of things. The cadets basically run the class and do a wonderful job of, first of all, starting off with a knowledge check, very, very quick bullet type questions, asking the students the cogent points that they should have remembered from the 9 lessons that came before, just to verify that they grasp those points. And then the cadets, with the help of the Girl Scouts, if they're present, fold the American flag, actually demonstrate how the flag is folded. And then, because we bring extra flags into the classroom, then the students are given the opportunity to actually fold the flag themselves. Many of these students have never touched a flag, and for them this is a very, very significant and emotional experience. And so working with the cadets and working with teams, they learn how to fold the American flag. It's a hand-on experience for them. And our goal is that every student will have the opportunity to fold the flag at least twice during this particular session of the class. Following that, the veteran talks about service. Service to community, service to country. Just trying to stimulate some thinking about how people can give back and how they should be thinking in the future to give back not only to their community but to their country. He or she opens themselves up to questions from the students about their own service and about some of their own experiences. And then following that, we have a graduation ceremony. We've already presented to the teacher certificates of completion for the course that have been designed specifically for this. The teacher has placed the student's name on the certificate. The student then reads the certificate and he reads the name, hands it to the veteran who is already signed and dated, and the student comes up. Some of them salute, some of them shake hands, some of them just stand tall, and we hand to them their certificate to take home. But we also provide to them a document that we also prepared as part of this American Flag Protocol Initiative. It's a 16-page document called Old Glory that discusses in a very, very simplistic form all of the cogent points about the American flag. And we give that to the student with the instructions, take this home to your mom and dad so that they're as smart about the flag as you are. After that, then we leave the classroom feeling very, very good that we've made a difference.
Totally.
Now, this program was launched officially in 2013 when we had a teachers workshop where 22 teachers representing 10 of Sarasota's elementary schools received their initial training. And since that time, that program has begun now to grow across the county and grow across the nation, and I'll talk about that in just a minute. But as of today, 1,150 4th and 5th grade students in Sarasota County have received certificates of completion, and we're very proud of that. We're even more proud to announce that next year Manatee County is going to be integrating this curriculum into its classrooms with the help of the Veterans Council of Manatee County.
Excellent.
We're even more proud to announce that because, and with the help of M.O.A.A. and its communication systems nationally, I have introduced this curriculum to 460 chapters of M.O.A.A. across the country.
Wow.
And it's I think important to note that a number of those chapters have taken up this challenge. I just received a letter and a newspaper clipping from Manchester, Connecticut, where the chapter and the superintendent are standing there. They are going to launch this program next year. We have Highlands County and Volusia County in Florida. We have we have programs in the Kansas, Georgia, Missouri, and Arkansas that are all beginning to work to implement this program. The final point that I want to make is that this program has also gained the attention of the National Council for History Education, that invited 2 of the teachers that participated in the curriculum development to come to their annual conference held in Niagara Falls, New York, to present to not only elementary and high school history teachers, but history teachers at the university level and historians this program so that they can see how history can be taught through the study of the American flag. I'll talk in a little later about the upcoming event that's also part of this, which is an annual flag retirement ceremony to be held at Patriot Plaza on or around Flag Day that honors our nation's flag and discusses and demonstrates proper flag protocol. And we're having that on the 12th of June this year, and I'll talk about that in more detail. Do you have any questions of me?
I love everything that the Military Officers Association is doing.
Oh, thank you.
And I love the book Old Glory because Goodwill has been handing it out.
Yes, yes.
And so I know you want to talk about the June 12th.
Well, let me also, I was remiss not to mention Goodwill, Minnesota, because you have been a great partner and a wonderful help. And part of this program is also a 2 county-wide flag collection effort, flag collection campaign, where people are encouraged to take their soiled, their unserviceable, or their worn flags and take them to either a veterans organization or, with the help of Goodwill, Minnesota, to one of your facilities where you have collection boxes and over the last year have collected hundreds of flags for proper retirement. And so we really want to thank you very much and Goodwill, Minnesota, for all of your efforts as well.
Oh, thank you. And that's the most important thing because we're talking about proper retirement. So
Right.
Make sure that you do find a veterans organization that collects it or come to Goodwill. So what's happening on Flag Day?
Well, it's actually Flag Day this year. Flag Day is the 14th of June.
Yes.
And 14th of June falls on a Tuesday, and that's not a good day to have a big ceremony. So we're going to move Flag Day in Sarasota. We're going to move it to the 12th of June, which is Sunday. And Sunday evening at Patriot Plaza, a gift of the Patterson Foundation to the Sarasota National Cemetery, at 6 o'clock, we are having a free concert featuring the Pops Orchestra for Bradenton and Sarasota, accompanying Gloria Musicae, singing a large number of very, very patriotic and very instilling songs. And all the people we hope will join in that singing and in that celebration.
And it's free.
And it's free. It's a free ceremony. And we'll follow that with a formal flag retirement ceremony that's going to be conducted by American Legion Post 159 from Venice. And we'll also then have a formal flag retreat ceremony, the playing of retreat and to the colors as the flag is lowered at the end of the day. Last year we had over 2,000 people attend.
Wow.
This year we're hoping for a maximum crowd of 3,000, and we encourage everybody to come out. It's free.
It's free.
And we'll have water and we'll have some ice to keep you cool. Hopefully we won't have any rain, and we very much encourage you to come out and bring your lawn chairs and bring things to sit on, cushions, because we will probably have enough chairs for everybody. So that's what we're doing.
And if you have not been to Patriot Plaza, I hope you do come out because it is such a jewel in this community and an amazing facility, and we have to thank the Patterson Foundation for bringing it here.
Absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
We hope to see you. Is there a website?
Yes, www.starsandstripescelebration.com.
So that's easy to remember.
Starsandstripescelebration.com.
Excellent.
No dots, no dashes, straight through.
And we'll also make sure that we link it to our website. So if you forget everything, experiencegoodwill.org. So, well, thank you so
Thank you
much.
very
Didn't
much.
you just
Thank you.
learn something?
Fabulous. It's wonderful work.
Well, thank you very much, Phil. Thank you.
Yeah.
We've enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And speaking of fabulous work, Phillip Tavil, who is the CEO of Children's First, is in a campaign. But it's not just a normal campaign. Why don't you talk about it?
Well, thank you, Veronica. Thank you to Goodwill for having me here this morning. The name of our campaign is Raise Your Hand, and you're talking about 4th and 5th graders, and when you know the answer, what do? You raise your hand.
Right.
So we know what the answer is. The answer is investing in very young children to help develop a basis for a life of success. And just a little bit about Children First. Our focus is on families with very young children, really beginning with pregnant families, working through with those families till their children are 5 and they go off to kindergarten, or as the kids like to say, the big school. And our focus is those families that are really the most economically vulnerable in Sarasota County. Sarasota County is our service area, and we serve those families at 13 sites, really from the airport to Northport, in their communities. And here's what we're doing. We're identifying from those families that live in poverty those who have the highest risk factors. So what does that mean? It's a family that's homeless. It's a family with a child with a disability. It's a family where there may be issues such as substance abuse or domestic violence. It's a family where the child has been in the DCF, Department of Children and Family System, for abuse and neglect. And our focus, unlike really anyone else, is that the more of those risk factors that a family has, that a child has, the higher up the list they go to come into our program. And that means that each day we are serving 550 children, 6 weeks to 5 years of age, or working with pregnant mom, and helping them really, again, develop that basis for life. Because what we know from the science of it is that the first 5 years of a child's brain development are the critical 5 years. That's when all the synapses and dendrites and everything is forming, and there's no do-over. No. It's not a rehearsal, it's the real deal. So a couple of years ago, our board retreated, or I'd like to say advanced, and we talked about what are our needs. Where do we go next with Children First? And I have to tell you, we have and we have had over many years really a terrific, committed, passionate, dedicated group of people serving as the board. And what came out of that meeting was identification of 4 areas where there was further need, and we knew that we had to bring more resources to bear to be able to address those 4 areas in a more critical manner. So the first really we call extending emotional and social well-being. And people say, well, what's emotional and social well-being? And here's one way of describing it. You know, when the kids are lined up and they're ready to go out to the playground, there's 2 ways that can happen. They're lined up neatly, they've got their inside voices going, maybe their hands are down at their side, they're ready to go. Or you have little Johnny who's biting the kid in front of him. That is poor social emotional development. It's about playing well with others. It's about following the rules. It's about knowing how to appropriately interact, because we all know in our world that when people have strong social and emotional growth, they're the people that you want to be with. They do play well with others. They work hard at work. They work hard at school. And unfortunately, one of the things that we have learned is that very young children can suffer from mental health issues. Depression is something that can be seen in a very young child, 2 or 3 years of age. When you think about children who have witnessed really very traumatic events and the impact that it has on them, because people like to talk about children being resilient, and they are, but they're impacted tremendously by their environment. And in poverty, just to begin with, there are what we call the toxic stressors of poverty. And we've decided that a focus in the social and emotional well-being of our children at a next level, as well as our families, as well as our staff, was a critical and primary point of this campaign. To that end, the campaign is up and running, and our first step was to hire our own licensed mental health professional, PhD level. We have started doing some really good work and are actually going to be entering our next step, where we have signed agreements with USF Sarasota Manatee and Webster, Argosy soon to come, to have masters in social work and masters in mental health counseling interns in their final year of schooling coming on site and working with our kids. It's
Wow.
really a very next level for early childhood education.
I'm impressed.
I'll give you the other three areas with a little more brevity. One is we want to lower the ratios, particularly in our preschool classrooms, of adult to children. So we have what we call best practice ratios. With infants and toddlers, it's 1 adult to 4 children with a maximum of 8. With our preschoolers, it can go up to 1 to 10, but typically it's a 1 to 8 or 1 to 9 ratio with a maximum of 16 to 18 kids. If they're all 4 and 5, maybe 20. With these behavioral issues and with issues such as what we refer to, or what is known as the 30 million word gap, which is what research has shown is the number of words that a child from a middle or upper income home will hear 30 million more words in the first 5 years than a child from a very low income home. Has an effect on brain development, vocabulary, so on and so forth. So our goal in lowering those ratios is to have a third teacher in the classroom. Next, we have family advocates who are like case managers who work with our families. And they work with them in 2 ways. One is to talk about what they dream about. What is it that you'd like to do? And sometimes it's as simple as, well, you know, if I could make $1 more or $1.50 more or $2 more an hour, I could move 3 or 4 streets away and I could be in a safer environment. Others will say, you know, I've always thought about doing something in the medical field. I'd like to become a nurse. And so we talk about, what would it take to do this? Let's develop an action plan. What's the goal? What are the objectives to get there? What are the resources that we're going to need? What's our time frame? Who's responsible? How are we going to measure success? Excuse me. And for many of our young families, the question is, have they ever experienced something like this? So sometimes it's a new concept. Our goal in this third point of the campaign is to lower the ratios of our family advocates to families, to be able to work more intensively with them, particularly in this second area, which is the area of crisis management. When you have a family's young child every day, when you do home visits, when you see the parents all the time, when crisis hits, we are usually the first point of contact. And what that means is that, let's say it's a domestic violence situation. Clearly, a place like Spark, Safe Place and Rape Crisis Center, is going to be the provider. That's who we're going to go to. But if it's a young mom in this domestic violence situation, she's usually going to reach out to us first. We have her child. She knows the family advocate. So we're frequently that first point of contact, and that's a critical role for our family advocates. The fourth area is unmet need. And in that unmet need, while we serve 550 children today, we have over 300 children living below the federal poverty level who are on a wait list. And our goal is 1 classroom at a time through this campaign to bring in 8 infants and toddlers, 18 preschoolers, as we can afford to do so. And that's all going to be privately funded because there isn't money from this government source or that grant that's ongoing that will allow us to do this. So that is, in a little bit more than a nutshell, the core of what we're looking at, Veronica.
What is the financial goal?
So the goal of the campaign is $3.8 million. It is a program campaign, not a capital campaign. So the idea is that we have begun implementation. It's a 5-year implementation plan with progressive implementation as time goes on. And our underlying support has been such that over the last 7 or 8 years, our private support has grown that this will all be sustainable in that 2020-2021 school year. We are, I'm very pleased to say, at just under $3.1 million on the campaign, having begun last October.
Wow.
It's
But they still need your help. So I know that those that are watching the show are very philanthropic and they care about this community. And if you really want to know more about Children's First and how you can make a major impact and raise your hand and help them complete this campaign, where should they go?
Well, to www.childrenfirst.net, like safety net, childrenfirst.net, like safety net. And the other thing is call Children First and ask for me. Mr. Phillip is typically what you would say. And I'll just give you a fair warning. If you come for a tour, Tom, you're invited. Veronica knows.
Thanks, Phil.
If you come through the door, it's fair warning. You'll become a part of our
You're
family.
going to fall in love.
It's pretty
Just-
phenomenal
All right.
stuff. So please come visit.
Yeah, you're going to say no, but yeah, it is such an amazing organization in this community and so needed. So definitely take Phillip on his offer and take a tour and go to childrenfirst.net. Call him up, hey, I just saw you on TV, great shirt. Also, I want to, well, first of all, thank you both for
Thank
making
you.
this
Thank you,
show
Veronica.
very informative. And next week, we're going to have a whole new format and a whole new name. So we've been listening to you, the letters and the emails that have come in, and actually we're changing the name to Tell Me Something Good, because we have been telling you something good, and it'll match with our radio show at 11 o'clock today on WSRQ. And also, for more information, you'll be able to reach our speakers and learn more about their information in Living on the Suncoast magazine. So now, when you want to hear something good, because we're telling you something good, it'll be on TV, radio, and print. And it'll all be around issues. So everything you're talking about has an issue. So you both will be coming back on to talk about it. And our first show, we're going to talk about the resources for children during the summer. Many of these kids are left at home way more than we want are left hungry. So we're going to talk about that issue and what are the resources to help those children. So I hope you continue to watch us on Sunday at 9:30, because if anything, we have fabulous people in this community and we're going to talk about fabulous things. So can I count on you guys to come back?
You can.
We're in.
Yeah, and then you can come on and say, guess what? We finished the campaign. So
Thanks
you're
for the
so
show.
close. You're so close.
We are. And, you know, there's so many generous philanthropic people in this community. Witness Patterson Foundation and all the volunteers that support your organization and the really great work you do. Thank you, Veronica.
Oh, well, thank you. I love what I do because I get to talk about good. Everything's good.
That's a good thing.
Exactly, it's a good thing. So anyway, and I hope to see you on June 12th, the Sarasota Flag Day,
Right.
at Patriot Plaza. Have a wonderful Sunday, and thanks for joining us.
And it's free.